Okie dokie. All right. So if, like I said, if you want to join the meeting, all you need to do is go to Canvas, go to announcements, and under announcements, there's only one announcement. And under that, you can find the Zoom link for this period. The current period is the link that I'm currently using. Feel free to join. I do think there is benefit in that because I think a lot of the mistakes that people are making, with at least the ones that are following along, if you count not doing anything as a mistake, the mistakes of people who are following along are things like not seeing if I'm using the var block versus the not var block. And that is something that will break your program. And if you do it. All right, so let's jump right in with lesson 7, bubble 1. Okay, Boolean expressions. Boolean is a trueness or a falseness. It is the state of true. Okay, in this case, let's see what we have. We get here, let's just run it and see what happens. Okay, so this is another practice bubble where all of our output is just going to be console log stuff. And how do I get rid of that? Regardless, there's not going to be any output. We are just practicing with statements. Okay. Let's see. Predict whether the following questions evaluate to true or false. Is 3 less than 5? 3 less than 5. Run. Okay. So you can see here, these are obvious as far as is a number less than another number or greater than. It either is or it isn't. It is true or false. Now, there's no reason why you would ever code a conditional like that. These are absolute values. I mean, absolute as in like they are distinct. I don't know what specific values. But if one of these was a variable, or perhaps both were variables, which could change, that's the variables, change as the program runs, that's why you would do it. And that's what's happening when we have that, if else statement. If some condition, we are asking, is that condition true? We are asking for the truthness of it. Okay, is 3 equal to 5? Okay, that's where false comes in. And 3 greater than 3. 3 is not greater than 3. And some basic arithmetic, 2 times 2 greater than or equal to 5. It is not. Okay, so let's just do some simple code that sort of restates the words there. Okay, is 10 less than or equal to 10? The easiest way is just to type it in. 10, and you don't have to put spaces in between things, but I think it is a little easier to read. 10 less than or equal to 10. And we run that, and you'll see is 10 less than or equal to 10? It is. And the last one is 10 minus 5 greater than 3 times 3. You can do this without parentheses, but I think it's a little easier to understand if you have parentheses. Is 10 minus 3 greater than 3 times 3, close parentheses. And there you go. And let's see, we find it out. No, it is not. I think that's all we have to do for this one. Okay. Yeah, Boolean expression is just asking if something is true. All right, bubble 2. Read and code, predict how questions 2 and 3 will answer. Run the code and watch, check prediction, add code 3 and 4, write a Boolean expression with values. Okay, so we have a couple global variables. Well, I mean, there aren't any functions to possibly have any local variables. But regardless, they are declared and initialized. Score is 10 and lives gets 3. Okay, is score plus lives less than 13? No. Score, it should come out false. Well, we just run it. This shouldn't be terribly difficult, more just practice. Is lives times 3 equal to score? Okay. No, because it's not. I don't know how else to explain it. Is score, well, we're just converting the language into mathematical arithmetic. Is score minus lives greater than 5? Yeah, don't overthink this. And the last one is score. I need to shrink it a little bit. Is score times 2 greater than or equal to lives times 10? Probably not. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. False. And I think that's it. I don't really know the point of this other than practicing typing things out. Hopefully you can convert, you know what these words look like in symbols from your keyboard. I don't think this is really a challenge yet. Okay, bubble 3. Okay, read the code for questions 1 through 3, predict the answers. Okay, so now we're getting to the logical operators, and, or, and not. And, or, not. Okay, and is 2 ampersigns, or is 2 vertical bars, which is shift backslash right above the enter key. You may not have never used that key before. And exclamation point means not. Okay, which you would say usually as in not equals to is the pretty much the only way you would ever see not, but it would be exclamation point equal sign. You are asking if it's not something, which does have a lot of use. But it can, it's always the inverse of is something. But sometimes you're checking to see if something isn't something. Sometimes checking to see if the current value of a variable isn't something, it makes more sense than checking if it is something, because you're fine with the variable being everything except something specific, which is why you'd use not equals to instead of just checking the inverse and checking equals. But regardless, let's see what happens here. We've got a few variables, fruit, veg, and grain. Okay, 3. Okay, it's fruit, fruit less than 3 and veg, or fruit greater than 3 and veg greater than 5. Okay, I think I showed you this the last time we had these logical operators. Okay, if the long thing is separated by an and, okay, both sides of it need to be true in order for it to be true. And this line right here is only asking, is the entire line true? Okay, this doesn't come out like as true, false, or both are true or whatever. It is only asking for a final answer of its truthness. And okay, is fruit greater than 3? Fruit is not greater than 3. Fruit is 3. So for this first side, fruit is not, this is false. So the whole thing is false. It doesn't matter what happens on this side. We've already chosen one side, or proved one side is false. And since it's separated by an and, this entire line is false. Okay, the next one, we have and is fruit servings less than or equal to 4, or excuse me, grain servings less than or equal to 4. It is fruit servings less than or equal to 4. It is. Both sides are true, so the whole thing is true. And okay, is grain servings, okay, grain servings equal to 5. Grain servings is not equal to 5, but we're looking for an or. So if this side is true, it can still be true. Okay, we're separated by an or. So either side of the or needs to be true, or at least one side of the or needs to be true for it to count as true. And it's saying is fruit servings not 2? Fruit servings is not 2. So this side is true. So the entire thing equates to true. So let's run it and see what happens. Okay. False, yes, true, false, false, and true. Or false, true, and true. Okay, last two. Am I eating exactly? I gotta zoom out again. Nope, that's in. Okay, am I eating exactly 3 grains of 3 grain servings? Or okay, so to do this in blocks, you sort of build from the inside out, but this actually probably you can just sort of translate the text the way you read it if you do it in text mode. Okay, am I eating exactly 3 grain servings? So is grain servings double equals to 3, or shift backslash vertical bar, or is fruit servings exactly 3? Remember, double equals sign is equals. So am I eating exactly 3 grain servings? Grain servings equal 3, or double or sign or double vertical bar for or exactly 3 fruit servings. So it is, that's how you would write it. If you were doing it in blocks, it's actually harder, but possible if you're committed. You know, you start from the inside out, you have an or followed by a that's not where I was going to do it. An or, okay, as my center, and then I'm asking, then both sides are equivalent operators. Then that's how you would build that, but you saw it's a lot easier to just type it out. And that should be true because fruit servings is 3, which is just this side of the or, and so it works. And the last one, am I eating 5 or fewer? Let's just go ahead and put I mean, you could type in, it's not the end of the world to type in console.log. Console.log. Am I eating 5 or fewer vegetable servings? So veg servings less than or equal to 5, and double ampersand any amount besides 5 grain servings. Okay, is grain servings not equal to exclamation equals 5, and close parentheses. Okay, any amount besides 5 grain servings. And so this side is true. Is veg less than or equal to 5? It is. Both sides are true. The last thing should be true. There you go. Okay. Just like before, you would never like write out is 3 less than 5. So it is. You would always use some sort of variable. That's the point. You also wouldn't usually put it in a console log. Console.log are like debugging statements. You wouldn't. I mean, it is useful in debugging, but it would almost always be in an if statement or an if else if else, whatever. Okay, bubble 4. Let's see what we got. Okie dokie. All right. Let me see here. What time are we done at 55? All right, yeah, we'll be fine. Okay, I'm guessing that yours came in text mode because it's broken. That's fine. If you really want to switch it back to block mode, the reason why there's an issue is because this if conditional is empty. You could just really type anything in there, a number, a word. if you type in a word, it's thinking it's a variable. Whatever. Anyway, it's thinking it's a variable. And if you have just if and then the name of the variable, it's expecting that variable to be a Boolean, meaning like it's already been decided as true or false somewhere else. But that's never mind. That's neither here nor there. I'm just going to put a number in there so that it is checking if two, like that doesn't make any sense, sort of. It would definitely be some sort of variable, but at least it gets us back to blocks. And I don't know, I like blocks too. Okay, build an app where the star changes based on the number of clicks. Add clicks to the watch window. You don't need the watchers. Instead of watchers, let's console.log clicks every time we click, or every time we add to a click. Okay, so I don't really like the variable clicks, little on the nose, but so when the star is clicked, clicks gets clicks plus one, meaning it goes up by one. Let's console.log clicks every time, just so that we have we'll have an output down here. Or actually, it doesn't. Never mind. Number of clicks is already on the screen. But it's fine. If you already put it there, it doesn't matter. But we have an output, and we're following the pattern of updated variable and then updating the display with that updated variable. Okay, add a Boolean expression to the if statement to check if there are 5 or more clicks. Test the app, see if it changes. Okay, so our conditional is simple. It's if clicks is greater than or equal to 5. It didn't take my equal sign. Greater than or equals to 5. Now hit run and click on the star. Hold on a second. Let's run. That was a little lag, but that's fine. And 5, it changes. That's it. Okay, we're updating a variable. We're updating the display based on that. And we're running a simple if condition, which as soon as that's true, it changes the color, the property of the star, but it's checking that every single time this code runs, which is when the star is clicked. It's checking it every single time. Yeah, so there's that. All right, next one. Okay, add the code, changes the number of clicks, run the code. Okay, so it starts out as black, so we don't need a if condition, but we have it if clicks. Well, we have another situation that we need, so we definitely need a I mean, you could do this in several different, if it's greater than this, let's do I mean, let's just do a third one. Okay, and our scenarios are, this is our middle scenario. Let's just write it out the way it is. If clicks is equal to 0, we'll make it black. Okay, and then for this one, we have a range, so it needs to be greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 4 in order to get that range. So we could just type it out, that if clicks, and this is a tricky thing that's difficult to grasp the first time. So if I said if clicks is greater than or equal to 1, I can't just do and less than or equal to 4. This is not going to work. Okay, the way you'd read this is the way it's written or the way we're saying it, but you need, the other side needs to check something also. Okay. If clicks is greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to 1, and clicks is less than or equal to 4. You wouldn't say clicks that second time if you were just speaking it. You just say is clicks greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 4. But you can't just do that. You need to check it against something else. And we're checking clicks both times. And if that happens, we want red, else we want orange. We don't need a 5 or greater else if, because it's the only other scenario since we're going up by ones. And let's see what happened. There we go. And that's it. Okay. This concept of having your ands or ors is not intuitive the way you have to write this out. But you do have to, if you're separating with an and or an or, you're separating two complete conditionals, and they need to be written as complete conditionals. Even if you're checking the same thing twice, it needs to look like that. Bubble 6. Okay, run the program, see how else if make it works. All right, so we've got a long set of conditionals, and I think because we're checking for these in order, I think we're going to save some time and just do the instead of doing a range like we did greater than or equal to 4, greater than or equal to 1, and less than or equal to 4. We can do the thing where if we check for less thans, we can check from the lowest number up, and because they're all in the same if else if statement, we just check the next range and it will work, hopefully. Okay, so what do we have to start? Okay, so we have a less than 5. Well, we need it's going to be difficult to go back and forth. Okay, so the first one is 0. Well, we actually don't need one for black. It starts out as black, and this doesn't even get checked until the first click. So we can leave this less than 5 as red. Okay, then the next one is 5 to 9, which is the same thing as saying less than 10. We don't need to do greater than 4 and less than 10 because anything that would break it the other way is already handled by this first one.
Pardon the interruption. Can you send Jake to attendance for just a minute when it's convenient?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and so let's add the rest of them. Let's just add the color stuff first. So we have, it goes orange, then what do we need? We need orange, then we need yellow, and green, and blue, and let's keep adding some. We need violet and pink. And our conditions is clicks less than, I'm gonna copy this because I'm gonna use it about 5 times. Less than 15 gets yellow, and it just continues by 5. Less than 20 gets green because that's 19 and so on. Less than 25 gets blue, less than 30 gets violet, and we can leave pink as else because it's the only way it would ever get there. And does it make it all the way to pink? It does. Okay. So that wasn't terribly difficult. Okay, bubble 7. Okay, debug the code. It never turns orange. Why does it never turn orange? Well, you can see that just if you are observant at all, you can see that clicks checks below 5, then it checks below 15, then it checks below 10. It could never run this chunk of code because anything that it's supposed to get to, which is something less than 10, would already be grabbed by less than 15. So we just need to switch those. I think the colors are still in the correct order. Oh, is orange supposed to go up with this one? I think so. I'm not terribly concerned. More concerned that you are noticing how the order of things. If you're checking less than, you need to go smaller to bigger on the numbers. And again, you may never use one of these in your own problem solving, in your own app, in your own design, but you will see a question, an else if question on the AP exam, I guarantee. Okay, some could do a Boolean and vice versa. Let's see what it looks like. Run the code, see the first example. Regular statement. Okay, so we run and okay, y is 8, x is y. Okay, so this variable x, if you look at what it is, how it's set up, this variable x is a Boolean. Okay, this variable x isn't holding a number. Hey guys, it isn't holding a number. It's not holding a string or a list or anything else. It is holding the concept of true or false. And that is how, when you console log x, it's console logging true or false. You can then use that variable in a conditional. And here, y is still number, y is 8. And here it is, it's weird, it's reassigning this to true or false, and then console logging it again. I don't know why it's doing that too. This is a really weird situation that without a problem as an example to show how you would apply it might not make any sense, or how you would apply this sort of in general, other than just a practice. But just know, I guess the key is that a variable can be used to hold true or false, and you can have a conditional where, like here, it's saying is if x is, or if y is less than 6, you could have something like if x. Okay, because x has been solved to be true or false already, you can just use that variable. And times you would use that as maybe you have a game with a game over situation, and that game over situation, instead of checking for game over every time, you run a function to sort of put it out of the way, abstract it, and that function sets a variable to either true or false, and that variable will be like is game over, and it returns either true or false. Then you use that to check for game over, just to sort of simplify things. I don't know, I'd probably use is game over more than anywhere else as a Boolean. But Okay, the Boolean expression is written for you. Below it, write a conditional statement that represents the same thing. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not okay. Boolean expression refer below, write a conditional statement that represents the same thing. I don't know if oh, I see what's happening here. Okay. If A is greater than 2, reassign B gets true, otherwise B gets false. I don't think this is even a very good example of how to use this, but what it's saying is all of this is the same as all of this. This here is assigning a true or false value to B based on A. And so is this. This is assigning either true or false to B based on A. And then console logging. I mean, it's such an abstract concept and an abstract application. I don't know the value there, but it's a thing. Booleans. Okay, bubble 9. All right, so can I adopt a cat flowchart, build an app that answers the question, add code and numbers, you get number instead of get text. Okay, value stored as numbers, not strings, write the Boolean expression inside statement, check if money is equal to 40 and age is over 14. Okay, so here we have a couple of, let's just switch it back to blocks. I'm just going to put a number in there so I can get it back to blocks. All right, so we have a couple of global variables, age and money. They are both declared and initialized to 0. They are based on the user's input for age and money. Now, we're going to use get number, and hopefully the user types in a number. It will probably let them type in a letter, and it will break it if they type in a letter and you try to get number based on the letter. There are ways to write in conditionals to keep the user from doing it. You can also use a different design element, like a drop down with all the numbers, or a slider that presents all the numbers so that the user can't give you some letters when you're looking for a number, but that's fine. Okay, so the adopt button is the only event handler, and we need to okay, so there's a yes and a no image that based on our condition, based on whatever the condition ends up being, either shows yes or no. Okay, you can see there's 2 images right there. When you hit the adopt button, it hides both of the elements. So this allows you to do it a second time through. The first time through, they're already hidden as part of their properties when it's built. But the second time through, it hides them, then checks the condition and either yes or no. But in order to do a real condition, we need to get the numbers. What's up? What's the name? What? Yeah, over here. I didn't thought you heard something else. Okay. So in order to have a conditional, which is going to be here, like if age is less than blah, 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 and so on, we need to get that information. We're going to get that information. We're going to use get number and reassign. So no var, reassign age. Age is going to get a number, is going to get number, and so is money. And so we need to retrieve those values with get number. This will not work if you use get text. And age is an input called age number. So age is going to be assigned whatever is in age number. And money is going to be assigned whatever is in money number. Okay, if you mouse over the element, you can see the name of the element. Okay, so we have retrieved variables that we are going to now use to check. What is our condition? Our condition, we want if money is equal to 40 and age is over 14. Let's just type that out. If money double equals 40 and age is greater than 14. Okay, now this obviously doesn't make sense that if you had at least $40 would make more sense, but that's not what they're asking for. Just do what they're asking. And so now if this is true, meaning both sides of this are true because we've separated by an and, we can check yes or no. So let's run it. Let's try age 20 and money 40. We should get a yes. If we change it to money 30, we should get a no. If we have it at 40 money, but 14 age, we should also get a no. There you go. So it works. Okay, let's go on to bubble 10. Okay, add these two changes the way it can 40 or more. Okay, so like I said, 40 needs to be 40 or more. And all right, so we have a couple of things going on here. We have a like double compound situation, but we're just going to change it so it reads the way, so our text reads the way that it's supposed to be. So first we need to change it to 40 or more, so it's greater than or equals to for the money, and we need a range. So we want to prevent anyone who's under 13 or over 19. Now, you can't do, wait, can you do not less than or equal to? Not less than or equal to is the same thing as the inverse of greater than or equal to. So that's not the route we're going to go. We're going to just think about what this is asking. This is saying not under 13 and not over 19. So it needs to be between 13 and 19 inclusive. So greater than or equal to 13 and less than or equal to 19. Okay, there's sort of an example of how these are not intuitive. We said not less than, can't be under 13 or over 19, but we don't want an or. In order to do a range that's defined and contained, it needs to be both greater than the lower number and less than the higher number to like wrap it in. So we want age needs to be greater than or equal to 13, and age needs to be less than or equal to 19. So we have we have three different conditions, and because they're separated by ands, they all need to be true. Now, when you get into four ands or four of these, like if you had an or, what the or is connected to matters because of the way you split down, because we will get to four things where you have two double things, which is four. I don't know. Sometimes you need to visualize it differently than this, but this should work the way it is. And let's check. Is age 13 and money 39 should be no. Money 40 should be yes. Age 12 should be no. Age 19 should be yes. Age 20 should be no. There we go. It works. Key takeaway here is that even though you would say it as or, you need to know when to use or and containing a range has to be and. It needs to be higher than the lower number and lower than the high number. That's how you define a range. Yeah, so that's the takeaway there. All right, so modulo, we could just say modulo, or modulus, modular arithmetic. Again, I'm not sure the parts of speech, but the key, the symbol is the percent sign. That's the first step. The second step is that, and we talked about it last time, I think, and I tried to impress upon you the importance and significance of modulo as a concept in computer science. It's division, but the only thing that matters is the remainder. Okay. If the first number is less than the second number, the answer is the first number. Okay. 5 mod 12. Okay, the second number is the clock size, so we use mod 12 a lot in the example. 5 mod 12 is 5. 17 mod 12 is also 5. Okay, 17 mod 12, you go all the way around the clock once, and then you have 5 more. It doesn't matter that you went around the clock once. What matters is that you went 5 past. Okay, it's the remainder. Okay, anything mod 2 is checking for even or odd. If you divide something by 2 and have no remainder, it means the number was even. If you have one remainder, it means the number is odd. And those are the only scenarios. Okay, read the code, look at the first sample, using the numbers from this list exactly once. Using the numbers from this list exactly once. Put a mod statement in the first console log statement of each set that results in the same number as the second. Okay, example. Okay, sure. Write an example of the first console of each. Okay, so we need something that will mod 2. So what divided by what will mod 2 is 4 mod 2. No, that would be even. So something mod 2 needs to be the second number. Is that what we're supposed to do? Mod 1. How would you get a result of 2? Wait, 4 mod 2 is going to be 0. So in order to get a mod 2, the second number needs to be at least. Oh, I bet it's like 10. Is it 10 mod? No, wait, 10 mod 3 would be 1, right? How would you get a mod 2? That means the second number needs to be. I don't know why I'm having brain troubles with this. Did anyone figure this out? 10 mod 4? Oh, yeah, of course. Very good. I'm having trouble going backwards to figure out what the combinations are. Okay, something mod 2 or something 0 could be 2 mod 2 is going to be 0. What another one that's going to be 2 be 4 7. Anything mod 2. Oh yeah, 2 mod anything bigger than it is going to work. Yeah, exactly. 2 I forgot about going the other direction. 2 mod 7. That could also be 2 mod 3 or 2 mod 10. Although we already used, we already used 10. Something that gets 0 is anything that goes in evenly. Have I used 3 mod 1 should go in evenly. And that's it. Figuring out combinations that end in a certain quotient. I don't know. I've never seen that challenge before, but it does get you thinking about modulo. All right, bubble 12. Okay, so there are 3 different puzzles here. We're going to do all 3. I think some of you may have been confused in the past lessons that had a single bubble with 3 different puzzles on them. Going to check them. So do them. Okay, chronotype app. This is a new one for this year. I've not seen it before. Let's see if we can figure it out. Okay, app is meant to help users discover which sleep program run the app. See how it works. Read the table below. Criteria for each sleep profile. Okay, dolphin. Oh geez, dolphin, bedtime, wake time, sleeper type. Wow, there's a lot of data there. Update the Boolean expression in the program. Test your app, test cases. Okay, so what do we have here? We have 3 global variables: bedtime, wake type, and sleeper time. Bedtime, wake time, and sleeper type, so they correspond to here. And generate button looks like our only event handler. And set up image URLs. Does everything equate to line at this point? Okay. So show element profile image. Why are the vars down there? I guess these still count as global because they get run before this event handler happens. It's a weird way of having these variables. These variables are just holding image URLs like we would use to set an image. But they put them at the bottom, which I think is confusing. It technically works because it doesn't, it runs before the event handler, so they can still be used in the event handler like they are, but neither here nor there. Okay, so we have our 3 variables declared. When we generate, we are getting the numbers from the user's input, or rather the 2 numbers and 1 text. And we want to figure out how to convert this system into the correct thing. Okay. So they're saying I haven't worked out every possible path for 11 or later, after 7, light, whatever, to make sure every possible combination works. But I think we're just supposed to do, okay, so dolphin is light, 11 or greater than for bedtime is first one, bedtime, and wake time less than or 7. Okay, so this sentence right here, or this series of 3 inputs for dolphin, are this first line, this first condition. We need to do the 3 conditions for wolf, the 3 conditions for lion, and hopefully every other condition gets bear. Okay, so wolf, let's see here. Wolf, bedtime, midnight, or later. Is there even a past 12? I mean, technically, if greater than or equal to is the way it's written. but there's no way for the user to put in a bedtime greater than 12. There is a way to count one as greater than 12 if you are converting clock times, because 1 a.m. is past 12. Whatever. We're just simplifying it and keeping it at 12. Okay, bedtime greater than 12. And double ampersand. What's the next one? Wake time. Wake time is greater than 7, not greater than or equal to, because it's after 7. And that's our only other condition, because it doesn't matter. Sleeper type is either. We don't need to account for it. There's no way for a user to put in a incorrect option. But if you were, it would be another and with light, and you wouldn't write it this way. You need to put in the heavy, where it'd be like if sleep type equals like whatever. But since logically there's no way for the user to get to there, we don't need to check for it. And that's our wolf combination. Our lion combination is 10 or earlier and 6 or earlier, and it's the condition right above lion, which we can actually do this in block if we just get rid of this and start over. Okay, so the lion condition is bedtime. I'm not typing. Bedtime is 10 or earlier, so it's less than or equal to, because 9 is earlier than 10. It's a lower number. Less than or equal to 10, and wake time 6 or earlier. That means less than or equal to 6. And so bedtime less than or equal to 10, and wake time less than or equal to 6. And we don't need to check for sleeper type, because it's an either. And the only other scenario that we're hoping for, like, because of these weird greater than and less than, there's possibly a scenario, a combination of times and sleeper type that doesn't get covered, which is why I would probably, and you could work through that logically, but it doesn't want us to do that. That's extra. Okay, update the Boolean and already completed for you. Test the app classmates, use the app, answer them correct based on the well, that should be it then. Okay, so whichever path it takes, it will run whatever code, and it will set the output words to that animal and set the image, our little profile image, to whichever variable is holding the picture that we want. Okay, so let's run it and say 10 and 5 and heavy. We get something. Okay, let's do one that doesn't come out lion. So a test case is 11, 7, and heavy should be bear. 11, 7, and heavy should be bear. Yay. What about 11, 6, and light should be dolphin. 11, 6, light should be dolphin. Okay. So that's it. You're just working through the text and knowing whether to divide it by or split it by and or what have you. Okay, so let's do the other one. You need to click on the bubble 12 at the top. If you hit finish, it will just take you to the next bubble, which we don't want. Oh, I'm just going to go to this one and hit, well, you don't have to hit finish. I will see that it's finished when I check it. So you may not have a green dot there. Okay, music genre quiz. Okay, which genre of music are you? Fun personality quiz. Version of the app is written based on a flow chart on the right. Click to expand. Okay. So based on this, okay, we can even do, I wonder if they want us to do a nested situation. I think we do. I think it makes more sense because we're checking one thing and it has a distinct answer, and then checking another thing and it has another check. I think this visually will make more sense as a nested conditional. And based on flow, see how I do this. According to the flow chart, alternative flow chart. No, I guess they don't have it set up like a nested conditional. I think it works fine the way it is. All they want us to do is to change this to if activity is workout. If activity is workout and if activities work out, it gets pop. If volume is soft, okay, so does this have, if volume is, if, okay, so if it's false, are there only two activities? There are only two activities. So we already know if we do workout that the activity is not the other activity. So we just need to check soft and class. Wait, does this have the same number as the other ones? Are the only activities go for a drive? All right, I am going to set this up as a nested conditional. And I think it makes more sense visually to break things off sooner than have compound ones. Okay, the first thing we're checking for is activity workout. So if activity double equals quote workout, then it is genre gets pop. Is that our yeah, genre. We are reassigning the variable genre gets pop. Okay. If it's not that, then we go into this conditional. And this is its own conditional, all of which will exist inside of this else. And the reason why it exists inside of this else is because if activities work out, we can ignore it. Because if this is true, we just want, this is our answer. This is our answer if it's true. If it's not, we need to go into another conditional, which is an if else that's going to go inside of it. And inside of this else, we are doing the same thing, but we're starting from here. If volume is soft, genre classical, else genre country. If volume Double equals soft. Genre gets classical. Else. Was it country? Genre gets country. What's up? If it what? Yeah, there's other ways to do it where this is just another way of visualizing compound conditionals where, okay, so a compound conditional that's separated by an and is the same thing as doing a first conditional and having the second part after the and as the if inside of it. So it's the compound conditional is sort of running two conditions. I mean, it's running two conditions at the same time.
Good morning, Blazers. May I have your attention for a few brief announcements. Seniors, today, Thursday, December 15th, and tomorrow.
That's where we're going to end it. We're going to finish the last bubble next time, and the next lesson is short. So that's it for today.
This is your chance to decide which of your